Hey, what's up you guys? I'm saying back with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, Doomsday, and Superman 2-pack. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you guys if you feel so inclined, please like the video and subscribe. It really does help my channel and it's absolutely free. Taking a look at the packaging over here, it's kind of similar to what we've seen with the last Batman v Superman 2-pack. It's just it's not in the collector's edition style anymore. This is the regular sort of edition. So you have DC Multiverse at the bottom of there, Doomsday and Superman. You got a background insert over there that's actually, I think, different to what we've seen before. If you look a little bit closer, you can see it's like Superman, and then it has Batman fighting Superman within it. So that's pretty cool. You get the collector cards in there along with the bases. You can see that at the side over here with Batman v Superman logo at the top, Doomsday and Superman, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, McFarlane Toys. The other side over here, you see the window box going on, Doomsday and Superman, DC Multiverse, McFarlane Toys at the bottom again. At the top, you don't really have much going on. Similar style going on and BVS logo. Then at the bottom, you have just some legal notes along with the UPC code. Then at the back over here, you got a nice picture of Doomsday from the movie along with the Henry Cavill Superman, Doomsday and Superman, Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, DC Multiverse, and McFarlane Toys at the bottom. Taking a look at the figures over here, what can I say? As I've said before, I really love Batman v Superman, the movie. I know it wasn't received very well, but there was a lot of good elements I felt like were part of it, and that was with Henry Cavill's Superman, Ben Affleck's Batman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. But, you know, the story kind of fell apart, and that also came with the character of Doomsday, because as everyone knows who's a Superman fan, when Doomsday comes into play, we know that the Man of Steel is going to fall. And this is Superman's second movie in this DCEU timeline, and yeah, it was too soon, but it kind of made sense in the end after Zack Snyder put out his director's cut of Justice League. Taking a look at the accessories over here, other than the cards and the base, we do get a Kryptonite spear over here. This is really nice to see, as I said in my previous video with the Armored Batman and Nightmare Batman 2-pack. One thing I think was really missing out of that set was the Kryptonite Spear, so I'm glad that we're getting it here. It is also a little bit bendy as well too, so it's very easy to move around. You get 2 extra pairs of hands for Superman over here. On him already I have the fisted hands, but then he also comes with the pointing finger. He comes with the sprawled out sort of hand. He comes out with the relaxed sort of hand, and then he comes out with a grabby hand for the Kryptonite Spear. So pretty good in terms of accessories on that. Yeah, I'm glad that we got the Kryptonite Spear with this, and it really does help, you know, build the scene of when Superman's fighting Doomsday in the movie. Taking a look at Superman over here, what can I say? I loved Henry Cavill as Superman. I am looking forward to the new James Gunn Superman with David Cornsweet, but this was still a very good Superman in my opinion. And if you didn't like his Superman, you cannot complain about the design, at least, because this design, a lot of care went into it. But Henry Cavill is a pretty difficult likeness to get, and I don't mean that as in he has an expensive likeness. His face is just one of those faces that are hard to replicate. Anyway, you got the Superman logo over here, and this looks great. Every time I look at this, you know, as much as the Joss Whedon cut of Justice League was terrible, I always think of that first scene in the movie where he explained to a kid that the Superman logo is not an S, and that stands for hope, and it's meant to wind. I really liked that sort of, you know, way of explaining how the S means hope. And that always stayed with me. And yeah, the paint looks really good on this. It's very shiny. It's very bold, which I think you would need for the Superman. Yeah, and there's so much detail going across the entire body with all the Kryptonian language lettering that goes all the way through it. I really like that. That's how they explained how the costume worked. And yeah, otherwise it is all blue, yes, but I think that the ideas behind it, you know, really make up for that. You got the super butt over there. You get the legs over here. You can see there's a bit of a different plastic change over there, but it's not as noticeable in person. It is noticeable on camera, though. And you get the red boots over there. Similar sort of texture going all the way throughout, which is nice. And then you get 2 peg holes at the bottom of the feet over there. I think one of the highlights with this figure is the cape over here. It is bendy wire, which is nice, and we haven't gotten this Superman figure with this sort of cloth cape before, and so this is really nice. It's a very long cape. It's more of a clothy material instead of like the nylon that we got before with the Batman figures. And it's really nice. One of the things about Henry Cavill Superman is that I at least loved was how the cape was always flapping in the wind. And yeah, you can really achieve that here with all these different sort of poses. As for articulation, this is a bit of an older figure. Came out in 2021 originally, so it was reused to be re-released now. The head can't really move up all that much, and that kind of sucks, especially for a Superman figure. But you know what? It's an older buck, whatever. It can move down about that much. It can move side to side, bit of pivot in there. You got the arm with the butterfly joint, and it's very tight for some reason, but it can go out like that. It can go down. It can go forward, back, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which move in about that far, which is pretty nice. You got some wrist articulation over there with the wrist peg and the double joint like that, so you can swivel it, move it up and down, whatever. I will say, I don't know if these fists and extra hands were exactly made for the figure. I think it was reused parts from other figures, because you can see it is kind of sliding off for me over here. I don't know if it'll be the same thing with yours, but as one thing to keep in mind. You got 2 diaphragm joints over here, one in the waist and one in the chest area. So it can go down just about there, go back. You can pivot it this way, you can pivot it that way. So you can, I'm sure you could get a lot of poses with this guy in there. The leg does kick up about that much. It can kick back like that. It can do the splits probably about that much. You do get double jointed knees in here, which move in about that far, and then some ankle articulation, which is down, up, and some pivot, and then a little bit of a toe hinge going out like that. Then obviously, if we want to count it, the cape does bend, so there is some articulation there. Taking a look at Doomsday over here, yeah, what can I say about this? Okay, so McFarlane has improved on their mega figures over the years. And, you know, there's been some good ones, such as like the recent Dark Side or the recent Bane. Those ones were pretty good in terms of their articulation. But this one here, I don't know what the heck happened. It's almost like we stepped back into 2021 with the Dark Side figure, because there's some loose joints going on over here. I don't know what the heck is happening. But anyway, we'll take a look at the detailing first. And the detailing for this guy, oh my goodness, that head sculpt looks awesome. It does look very, very good, in my opinion. You know, it is that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sort of look that everyone kind of joked about when this originally came out. And yeah, it doesn't look bad. It's a good facial expression for the movie, and yeah, I like it a lot. The rest of the chest over here, you got a bit of a gold sort of paint going on, and I think that's to mimic the sort of like power-up effects that he has. I like it because it kind of makes the details pop a little bit more, but I definitely do think it could have also gone without it. But you got the bit of the rocky pieces going on throughout over there, and those look nice. You got the one open hand. That's another thing. I really do feel like that this figure should have came with an extra fisted and an open hand, because it only comes with one open hand on the left and then a fisted hand on the right over here. So they definitely could have gone and given us the extra hands. And then you get the torso over here. I know everyone was complaining about the diaper. I can say that it's not that bad in person. I don't know if it looks bad on camera. I'm looking through it right now. It doesn't look terrible to me, but you guys can be the judge on that. And then you get the knees over here with the same sort of texture going on. So yeah, sculpting wise and for the most part paint wise is actually pretty good on this figure. Yeah, it's just the articulation. You get the toes over there and the toenails are painted. It's just the articulation where it kind of falls apart. 2 peg holes at the bottom of feet, which we'll get into right now. Okay, so articulation on this thing, not the greatest, but head, hardly moves up. Almost doesn't move up at all. You can move it side to side though. There's a slight bit of tilt in there. The arms, I don't know what's going on with the arms over here. As I said, like you can move it around, which is nice, but breaks up the sculpt, and the sculpt underneath is not painted like it is on the outside of the body. So that kind of sucks, and it feels like it feels like it's just on a joint. It could have used like something with the Superman over here, with how it has that sort of like butterfly like cap piece. So they could have put like a cap in there that was like more rubberized. I guess that would have cost more or something. I don't know. I don't like the look of how that breaks over there, and it also just feels a little bit weird. But it can go up about that much. It can go up, down. It can, as I said, tilt around. You got a bit of an elbow joint in there that hardly moves forward. I feel like we could have gotten a little bit more articulation out of that. It swivels at the elbow though, which is nice. So that's a plus. And then you got the hand articulation, which is a swivel and a hinge, obviously. And same thing with the fisted hand. So that's pretty nice. For torso over here, we get pretty much nothing. And I like in one like part, I feel like that's okay because, you know, yeah, it's some nice sculpted detail in there, but I really do think we could have used like a diaphragm joint in here of some sort. We get a bit of the waist joint, but I just don't think it helps it all that much. You can tilt it to this side, you can tilt it to this side. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever you guys think, let me know in the comments down below. He can kick forward about there, but the diaper piece kind of hinders it. He can kick back about like that, and then he can do the splits about there. And then he does, oh, this just, it doesn't really feel, this like has something going on with it. I don't know what the heck it is. Like does have a single knee joint in here, and as you can see, it was not painted all the way, so you will get a bit of paint marks in there, which is not all that great, but it can swivel at the knee, which is nice. Oh my goodness. And then you do get some ankle articulation, which is down, and again you have the paint at the joint, so there you got up, which is pretty good, and then a bit of pivots, yeah, a little bit of pivot in there as well too. And then you got some toe articulation, which is pretty darn good. But again, you get that paint scratches over there. So, but yeah, that's about it with the articulation. As for comparison today, I do have the Doomsday and Superman next to the Nightmare Batman and Armored Batman from the 2-pack that I previously reviewed. Be sure to check it out if you haven't already. And as you can see over here, they scale pretty well. I will say, you know, I think in terms of scaling, Ben Affleck is supposed to be slightly taller than Henry Cavill. So this works out pretty well over here. You can see Ben Affleck stands a little bit taller. He's also like spaced out a little bit there too. And here he also stands a little bit taller than Superman as well too. So that's great. And then you also have Doomsday over here. He's completely towering over the Batman. So the scaling is pretty good in my opinion. I do have the Kryptonite Spear on the Ben Affleck Batman, and this makes me very happy, and it makes me very happy to see these two together. In terms of the height over here, so you can compare to some figures you have at home, you can see the Superman here stands at just over 7 inches tall, and then Doomsday here standing at a whopping 9.5 inches. So final thoughts on this Doomsday and Superman 2-pack. First off, as I said in the previous video with the two Batmans, I am very appreciative that we're going back to the Batman v Superman film and doing figures from that lineup, because in my opinion, a lot of those characters were the best designs that we've seen in live action. And so I'm very glad to have gotten Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and, you know, it's also great to get Doomsday over here as well too, even though his design wasn't the greatest in that movie. Now, to get the positives out of the way, I will say Superman is the highlight of this 2-pack over here. If you missed out on that Zack Snyder Justice League Superman, the red and blue style, as I said before, this is a perfect opportunity to get him. You get the extra hands, you get the Kryptonite Spear. It's all great. And I don't know, I don't have the original figure, so I don't know how to compare it, but it looks like they've done the paint apps a lot better this time around, and it's a little more accurate to Henry Cavill. And as I've said before, the cloth cape is really the game changer on this guy. It's a different material from previous ones that we've gotten. It's a different material from the Armored Batman that I recently reviewed. It's a different material from the classic TV series Batman that I reviewed. So like McFarlane is absolutely killing with these. The wired cape is awesome. Keep them coming, and it really does change up the figure a little bit and allows you to get it into very dynamic poses. As for the Doomsday, I'm a little bit torn on this guy. I'm not sure whether to like it or to hate it. One thing I really do like is that, we're actually getting a Doomsday figure. That was something that I kind of was missing out on when the Batman v Superman movie came out. Even though, as I've said before, it was a very controversial character, I'm glad that we finally got him in figure form. So kudos to McFarlane for doing that. Now, that said, sculpting, I think, is great. Paint detailing, for the most part, I think is great. And it actually hasn't turned out as bad in person. But with that said, the articulation on this guy, you can't really get any hinges in the elbows. You can't, the arm joints are just weird in the way how they move it. It feels like I'm gonna break the figure, because that's the other thing too. Like, when you get these figures, you want them to feel nice. And even though I'm able to get him into standing poses with Superman, that sort of stuff, I feel like the area, at the very minimum, they should have just added a little bit more articulation in the torso area. Now, okay, I don't know the exact backstory between all this, so there could be reasons as to why they couldn't do this, but I don't know. It feels like it's the same figure as the Darkseid that we got in that original 2021 Zack Snyder Justice League wave. And I just feel like McFarlane has done better recently, and seen as this is a brand new figure, I feel like that this could have turned out a little bit better. With that all said, there's also something else we haven't talked about, and it's the price on these guys. Now, these guys do cost a little bit more than it normally has cost between a figure and a mega figure before. At least in Canada, this is $100. USD, I think it's around 70, and I don't know if it's really justified within the price over here, because you're basically paying, if you're talking about USD, you're paying for a $20 figure, and then what would be a $30 mega. I can't see in any world where this Doomsday figure would be worth $50 USD. So that's really my gripe about it. It's just the fact that the Doomsday is not up to par, and it shouldn't have made this 2-pack cost that much. But if you're able to get it on a sale, by all means, this is a great 2-pack. I absolutely love this thing. And as I've said before, I love that we're getting more BVS merchandise. So would I give this 2-pack as a rating? Well, all things considered, I think we are seeing some reuse here. There's a bit of new parts, but they haven't really been executed very well. So I think a deserving score for this would probably be a 6 out of 10. That said, though, as I've said before, I absolutely love this thing to death. I absolutely love that we're getting Doomsday. I love that we got the Henry Cavill Superman, and I have the opportunity now to actually get him in his blue and red suit with the cloth cape, which is absolutely fantastic. So for me personally, this is very much worth it. And if you're a Batman v Superman fan and you're looking to get these two characters, by all means. With that said, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you like Henry Cavill's Superman? Do you think David Cornsweet is going to beat out Henry Cavill's portrayal? Okay, I already know that he's going to, because they're playing more in the Clark Kent side of things. But, at least in terms of the look, I don't know. I like how it's going for more of the comic booky route, but I still do think that the Henry Cavill Superman look is more realistic and translated better from the comics. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as every YouTuber begs you to do, please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.